Modern China has become a vast open-air prison, an entire nation ruled by fear. Ordinary people live under constant threat. They can disappear without a trace, be silenced for speaking out, or even have their organs taken away. What happened in the Guangguang case wasn't an isolated tragedy. It was a warning sign. And tonight, we uncover another nightmare unfolding under the Chinese Communist Party's rule. The Devil Doctor. June 2018. A 23-year-old woman named Zhang Qi walked into the first affiliated hospital of Zhangzhou University for what she thought was just a simple cold. Doctors insisted she stay for tests, promising her the costs would be covered. The hospital's thoracic chief, Dr. Ji Guangguang, recommended a so-called minimally invasive puncture surgery. But mid-surgery, everything changed. A nurse rushed to Zhang Qi's mother, Du Tingxiang, saying the doctors now needed to remove her daughter's entire left lung, supposedly to prevent future infections. Stunned and cornered, Ms. Du signed. When the operation ended, Zhang Qi's lung was gone, and her nightmare began. Then they said, if you want a lung transplant, get 500,000 yuan ready, over 70,000 USD, we can even help you find a matching donor. Is there anything more evil than this? Soon, Zhang Qi's health collapsed. Rough stitching caused infection, her chest cavity filled with pus, and a fist-sized wound opened beneath her arm. Daily, she needed fresh dressings just to survive. Post-surgery tests later proved the hospital's claim of fungal infection was completely false. Even independent lab results from Zhengzhou Adicon medical testing showed no abnormality. The hospital never showed the family Zhang Qi's removed lung, sparking suspicion it had been stolen and sold. On September 21, 2025, Zhang Qi and her mother appeared at the Chinese Culture Festival in Duisburg, Germany, publicly accusing Ji Guangguang and the hospital of deception. Their investigation uncovered Kui's long involvement in organ transplants, 1,061 operations in just 6 months of 2023. Zhang Qi has endured more than 20 surgeries since. She can no longer eat normally or lie flat, and her survival depends entirely on her mother's care. German doctors called it a miracle she's still alive. Her case exposes one corner of the CCP's shadowy world of illegal organ harvesting, a system where hospitals profit from human flesh. The open secret. According to the Vision Times, whistleblower Zhang Yu, a nurse who worked 10 years at a major Wuhan hospital, told overseas media that live organ harvesting is no longer hidden, it's an open secret. Here's how the machine works. During routine checkups, hospitals secretly collect patients' blood samples and send them to unknown labs for organ matching. Once a match and a buyer are found, doctors fake diagnoses like liver disease or kidney blockage. Under the guise of treatment, they perform unnecessary surgeries, removing perfectly healthy organs for sale. Medical reports are forged. Families can't tell real from fake. The operations are covert, with hospitals using exclusive tunnels and sterile corridors to move organs out. Some hospitals, like Xiangya in Hunan, even keep helicopters on standby to fly organs away while victims are still on the table. Zhang Yu revealed that it all began with Falun Gong practitioners, but now ordinary citizens are targets too. Around Wuhan's Guanggu Square, students disappear without a trace. Locals whisper their bodies are feeding the organ trade. Her words cut deep. That society is completely rotten. And the numbers prove it. In 2016, China recorded 3.9 million missing persons. In 2023, 3 million. In 2024, 3.09 million. Each number hides a body, a family destroyed, and a system protected by the state. Police and criminals as one. If not for surveillance cameras, few would believe it. A child kidnapped in broad daylight, right before her parents' eyes. On October 6th, a man in black pretended to make a phone call before snatching a child off the street. The mother, Ms. Chu, chased him down. With her husband's help, they rescued their child. But the next day, the Yanshanhong police released the kidnapper, claiming there was no evidence. They refused to open a case. 3 days later, the same man returned, this time with an accomplice, to threaten the family at home. Across Guizhou, Anhui, Sichuan, and Henan, human trafficking has become epidemic. Locals say police not only protect traffickers, but even shield families who buy abducted women and children. In China today, no one is safe. Children, adults, entire families, they vanish without a trace. The ambulance mystery. On October 22nd, Chinese social platform Douyin was flooded with videos of unlicensed ambulances appearing across the country. Netizens linked them to organ trafficking, calling them mobile harvesting vans. The online community commented bitterly, "What kind of society is this?" But the nightmare is far from over. Inside China's organ harvesting empire and global money laundering machine, a new horror has surfaced, one that turns hospitals into slaughterhouses, doctors into butchers, and human lives into a billion-dollar trade. From China's Xiangya Hospital to Cambodia's Prince Group, this is the story of a global network of power, profit, and blood. The Slaughterhouse Hospital. At the center of China's organ harvesting empire stands Hunnan's Xiangya Hospital, known across the country as the human slaughterhouse. Reports reveal deep ties between the hospital and a man known as Ji Guangguang, real name Ming, the grandson of former Chinese Premier Li Peng, once infamous as the Butcher of Beijing. He's also one of the key suspects in the Yu Menglong case. In 2024, a young intern doctor, Luo Shuaiyu, mysteriously fell to his death after exposing the hospital's organ harvesting operations. Before his death, Luo had compiled 11,119 pages of evidence, 8 kilograms of documents detailing 5 shocking revelations: missing persons, thousands of youths disappearing, their organs tied to transplant operations, the brain death lie, doctors declaring patients brain dead through drugs and fake diagnoses, the organ trade chain, a complete industrial process from donor selection to transport, medical corruption, doctors and hospital leaders profiting together. Ethics destroyed, hospitals meant to heal now operate as slaughterhouses. What stunned the public most was the man behind it all, Li Ming, the slaughterhouse owner. He controls 677 companies in Hunan province, including Xiangya Hospital. According to the X-Platform account News Investigation, Li holds shares in Xiangya and profits from the organ extraction of young entertainers. The Yu Menglong case, they claim, is directly linked. His body may have been sent to Xiangya for processing. One netizen put it bluntly, "Once you're in their web, there's no way out." According to the People's Paper, in October this year, during a post-screening discussion with the audience following the showing of the award-winning documentary State Organs, hosted by Rotary International at the Westin Hotel in Washington, D.C., senior editor of the Epoch Times Jan Jakielek stated that, according to the estimates of international human rights lawyer David Mattis, a veteran investigator of the Chinese Communist Party's organ harvesting allegations, the organ harvesting industry in China generates an annual output value of approximately $9 billion. Jakielek added that, based on his own calculations, each transplant operation costs between $50,000 and $300,000. In 2006, David Mattis and the late David Kilgour, former Canadian Secretary of State, Asia Pacific, released a report in Ottawa, Canada, titled Report into Allegations of Organ Harvesting of Falun Gong Practitioners by the Chinese Communist Party. The report confirmed the accusations that the Chinese regime had been harvesting organs from Falun Gong practitioners. Mattis described it as an evil never before seen on this planet. On May 19, 2016, the World Organization to Investigate the Persecution of Falun Gong, WIPFG, after 10 years of investigation, published a comprehensive 210,000-word report reaching the following conclusions. The live organ harvesting of Falun Gong practitioners is a state-sanctioned crime orchestrated by the CCP under the direct orders of Jiang Zemin. The primary source of organs in the early stages of this operation is believed to be millions of Falun Gong petitioners who were illegally arrested and detained. 6 categories of evidence reveal that a massive living organ donor bank exists in China. The CCP's live organ harvesting from Falun Gong practitioners has not stopped but instead intensified, including 2 large-scale waves of emergency transplant operations. The claim that all transplants after 2015 used voluntarily donated organs is false. Extensive data analysis shows that a large number of Falun Gong practitioners were killed by the CCP through organ harvesting. On June 22, 2016, the latest investigative report on the CCP's organ harvesting, titled Bloody Harvest, the Slaughter and Update, was officially released in Washington, D.C. The three co-authors, David Kilgore, deceased, American investigative journalist Ethan Gutman, and Canadian human rights lawyer David Matas, stated that, over the past 15 years, it is estimated that around 1.5 million organ transplant surgeries have been carried out in mainland China, with Falun Gong practitioners as the primary source of organs. What is Falun Gong, and why does the CCP fear Falun Gong? Falun Gong is a spiritual cultivation practice rooted in the Buddhist tradition. It was first introduced to the public by Mr. Li Hongzhi in Changchun, China in 1992. According to Mingwei.org, a website that regularly reports on the Chinese Communist Party's persecution of Falun Gong practitioners, by 1999, just 7 years after its introduction, Falun Gong had become a household name throughout China. Through the practice, practitioners regained their health and found renewed hope in life, and they went on to share it with their families, friends, and colleagues. By 1998, according to official Chinese government estimates, the number of practitioners had reached 100 million people across all sectors of society. This figure exceeded the membership of the Chinese Communist Party itself, which stood at around 60 million members in 1999, including many relatives of members of the CCP's Politburo Standing Committee, the party's highest decision-making body. At first, the Chinese authorities not only endorsed Falun Gong, but even awarded it honors and commendations for its demonstrated benefits in improving public health and morality, which they regarded as a positive contribution to social stability. However, as Falun Gong's popularity spread rapidly and deeply across the nation, then CCP leader Jiang Zemin developed a paranoid fear that the practice posed a potential threat to the regime. On July 20, 1999, Jiang unilaterally ordered a nationwide ban on the practice, defying the opposition of the other 6 members of the Politburo Standing Committee. From that moment, an unprecedented and brutal campaign in modern history of persecution against Falun Gong practitioners swept across China. Thousands were tortured to death, countless others were imprisoned and subjected to horrific torture, and many were killed for their organs. Despite this relentless persecution, the CCP has failed to suppress Falun Gong, as the practice has continued to spread rapidly across the world. According to Falun Info, people in more than 100 countries, from Indonesia to India, Togo to the United States, Belgium to Brazil, have taken up the practice, and Falun Gong's teachings have been translated into over 50 languages. While many within international Falun Gong communities are refugees who fled persecution in China, many others are local citizens who began practicing to improve their health and well-being. Wherever they are, the plight of practitioners in China is never far from their minds, and many participate in grassroots awareness campaigns and government advocacy to help rescue Falun Gong practitioners in China. By 2025, 26 years have passed, yet the persecution continues. Jiang Zemin is dead, but current CCP leader Xi Jinping has not ended the campaign. Instead, he has expanded it globally. In December 2024, the Epoch Times published an exclusive investigative report titled, "In Secret Meeting, Xi Jinping Ordered New Strategy to Attack Falun Gong Globally," officially confirming a new campaign orchestrated by Xi Jinping to suppress Falun Gong worldwide. According to the report, in October 2022, Xi Jinping held a secret meeting with top state officials overseeing political, intelligence, and influence operations, during which he instructed them on a new global strategy targeting the Falun Gong spiritual group. The core of this strategy involves launching disinformation campaigns through social media influencers and Western media outlets, as well as using the American legal system to target companies founded by Falun Gong practitioners, specifically the Epoch Times, the international multilingual newspaper and media organization, and Shenyun Performing Arts, the classical Chinese dance and music company established in New York in 2006, whose mission is to revive China's 5,000-year divine culture. The plan also focuses on defaming Falun Gong's founder, Mr. Li Hongzhi. The revelation sparked strong alarm among U.S. lawmakers, who strongly condemned the Chinese government's latest actions for their serious human rights violations and for their ability to instantaneously spread false information worldwide, using it to undermine public opinion and erode freedom in the United States and across the free world. Ronald J. Reichlach, a distinguished professor of law at the University of Mississippi and an expert on disinformation, told the Epoch Times, "What the CCP is doing is precisely what the Soviets did, trying to insert their narrative and propaganda into recognized Western newspapers, magazines, and media outlets." Pennsylvania Representative Scott Perry stated, "The Communist Party of China is essentially a criminal organization running a country. Since the United States does not allow criminal organizations to use our legal system to persecute adversaries or violate basic human rights, we certainly shouldn't allow the CCP to do so either." Perry's statement underscores a growing realization in Washington. The CCP's human rights abuses are deeply intertwined with its global network of corruption and financial crime. Xi Jinping's money bag exposed. While organs fuel the CCP's domestic crimes, money laundering sustains its global power. As we've reported previously, in Cambodia, Chen Ji, chairman of Prince Holding Group, has been indicted by the U.S. for telecom fraud and laundering billions. But beneath those charges lies something far darker: his direct link to Xi Jinping's own family. According to Chinese-Canadian writer Sheng Shui, Chen is the nephew of Huang Kunming, CCP Secretary of Guangdong Province, and a longtime financial agent for the Fujian faction, the same network tied to Xi's sister, Qi Chaoqiao. Born in Lianjiang, Fuzhou, Chen served as Qi Chaoqiao's private money handler, managing vast family fortunes and laundering CCP elite wealth through Prince Group. He had direct access to the Ministry of Public Security, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Shenzhen Guest House, a known Xi family base. U.S. sanctions have struck the network hard. 127,271 bitcoins, worth $15 billion seized. 19 London luxury properties frozen. 146 entities and individuals blacklisted. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, Eastern District of New York, Chen transformed Prince Group into one of Asia's largest underground criminal syndicates, running scams and laundering money through 30 countries since 2015. Holding multiple nationalities, Chen was granted Cambodia's Okna Medal in 2020 and appointed as advisor to then Prime Minister Hun Sen, securing both political protection and international reach. The CCP's hidden empire. Experts say Chen's case perfectly mirrors how CCP elites move their fortunes offshore. Lu Bingquan, a senior lecturer at Hong Kong Baptist University, told Deutsche Welle that top party families always use proxies, agents who manage and clean their wealth in secret, under fake identities. Through Prince Group, Chen built a global laundering network disguised as real estate and banking. But beneath that facade, it functioned as a financial engine and logistics base for CCP intelligence operations abroad. An important key: a former Chinese agent named Eric, once part of Prince Group, confirmed that the company acted as the CCP's logistical arm in Southeast Asia, funding covert missions, recruiting personnel, and transporting materials. He said, "It's not just a business, it's an extension of the CCP's secret state machinery." The U.S. crackdown on Chen Ji is unprecedented. $15 billion seized, properties frozen, 146 entities sanctioned, yet analysts warn this is merely the tip of a trillion-dollar iceberg. The final call. From Yu Menglong's death, to Zhang Qi's mutilation, to Luo Shuaiyu's fall, one truth becomes clear. The CCP is not a government, it's a criminal syndicate that feeds on its own people. To all viewers, especially those in China, recognize the CCP's evil for what it is. Its collapse is near. Before that moment comes, cut ties. Save yourself and your family. If you once joined the Communist Party, the Youth League, or the Young Pioneers, Now is the time to renounce it. Visit global.tuidang.org, click Quit the CCP now, and follow the simple steps. Step away from the darkness, break free from its grip, and prepare to welcome a new China, one free from fear and free from the Communist Party. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. And don't forget to drop this icon in the comments to help us beat the YouTube algorithm. If you found this analysis valuable, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future updates. Thanks for watching. See you next time.